When I saw Ethan's Ho-Oh EX, I knew it would be good because of its Golden Flame ability, but I didn't know exactly how to play it until now. We're going to play everything. With Armor Rouge and its ability Fire Off, we can move the fire energies off Ethan's Ho-Oh to the proper attacker. And these are the proper attackers. Taking a look at this deck list, you're probably like, man, this is absolutely crazy. But hear me out, it does work. We do play the 3-2 line of the Charcadet and the Armor Rouge. Armor Rouge does have the ability Fire Off that allows you to move as many fire energy from your bench to your active Pokemon as you would like at any time during your turn. Basically, you can move all 4 of the fire energies you get with Ethan's Ho-Oh's ability to the active spot if that's what you want to do. We play the 2 Ethan's Ho-Oh EX with its ability Golden Flame that allows us to attach 2 fire energies to each one of our Ethan's Pokemon. So if we have 2 Ethan's Ho-Oh on the bench, we can use its ability for 4 total energies, which would power up any one of our attackers that we're using in this deck. We do play the Black Kyurem EX with its attack Ice Age to help deal with Dragapult specifically. It does paralyze dragon Pokemon, giving you some extra turns. Most Dragapult decks only play maybe one Switch, maybe one Turo, and if they don't just have it in hand, you could buy a few turns. You could even combo this with other attackers such as the Hearthflame Ogerpon EX, which I'm sure most of you have never played in a single deck, but it does have the Dynamic Blaze attack, which does 280 damage to evolution Pokemon, which does one-hit KO all those pesky evolutions, and it does help knock out bigger Pokemon like Dragapult after you've used your Ice Age attack. Best part is you can use all of the energies from the Ice Age attack on your Hearthflame Ogerpon. All you need is a Latias on your bench and the Armor Rouge to move the energy to the Hearthflame Ogerpon. We do play Iron Hands. Iron Hands just busted card whenever you can get it set up. We do play enough energy and enough Earthen Vessel to be able to kind of aggressively find our energies to get Iron Hands going as early as your second turn once you've evolved into an Armor Rouge. Taking 2 prizes with Iron Hands can just put the prize trade in your favor. We've played a few wall decks with this actually, and Iron Hands ended up being the MVP because we attack with the Iron Hands and the Wellspring Ogerpon in that matchup quite a bit. You build up damage on the Cornerstone, and then you finish it off with the Iron Hands for 3 prizes. Taking 2 prizes on your opponent's Noctowls, on just all their basic Pokemon before they can get set up, using Boss's Orders to bring up something off the bench, such as a Squawkabilly for 3 prizes, is just so powerful. It's obvious why Iron Hands is in this deck. We've already talked about the Hearthflame Ogerpon, just a super strong card. If your opponent attacks into this Hearthflame Ogerpon and say they attack with a Dragapult doing 200 damage, so if you have 20 damage counters on your Hearthflame Ogerpon, you're doing a lot of damage. You're taking one-hit KOs with the Hearthflame Ogerpon if they don't quite take the knockout on it. It's a very powerful card, very versatile. You just have to be careful with when you bench these Pokemon. Make sure you have a Terra Pokemon in play at all times because we do play the Area 0. Allows us to get all these Pokemon onto the bench for the proper sequence of, combos to do the most damage to our opponent. Latias allows you to free retreat any of your Pokemon except for the Armor Rouge, but you can move 2 fire energy up to the Armor Rouge if they try and trap it. Mew EX is a good attacker with Genome Hacking. You can copy your opponent's attacks. We've done it in many matchups. My favorite thing was whenever we used Genome Hacking to attack a Mewtwo EX, and then we finished it off with Iron Hands for 3 prizes for the game. That was a lot of fun. Just draws 3 with restart. In a lot of circumstances, you do have a very small hand. You only play for research for Iono. Not a lot of other draw support, so you do get down to small hand sizes really often, and you also play for Iono, so you are putting yourself at a low hand size in most matchups numerous times. Pheasantipity, just the best card in the format. Cleffa is our 30 HP Pokemon of choice over Badoo. Sometimes we just want to be able to draw up to 7 cards. It does help with our setup, getting our evolution Pokemon, finding Ultra Ball, Earthen Vessel, Legacy Energy. Just an overall really powerful card in our deck. Considered playing a Brave Charm to be able to put on Cleffa or onto our basic EX Pokemon. Really strong on the Squawkabilly, really strong on the Mew EX to stop your opponent from taking easy knockouts with Dragapult. Make them have to do that additional 10 damage to take a knockout. But I just couldn't see cutting anything out of this deck for the Brave Charm, for the Durant, for the Clefairy. Just doesn't make it too much of a difference where your opponent would be attacking into the Clefairy or the Durant or even the Squawkabilly or Mew to cut one of these other cards for it. If I were to cut a card, it would probably be an Earthen Vessel go down to 3 Earthen Vessel for a Brave Charm. That's probably the only change I'd make to the deck. Squawkabilly EX, sometimes you just have a bad hand. You play 4 Nest Ball for Ultra Ball. That can bail you out of a bad starting hand if you're going first especially. Wellspring Ogerpon allows you to snipe your opponent's bench, take out all of their little baby Pokemon. You'll only need 3 energies for this. You could do 1 Ethan's ability, and then you can do your Luminous or Legacy energy for the water energy requirement. And then you're doing the Torrential Pump, potentially taking 2 prizes on your second turn. Lily's Clefairy is mainly there for Dragapult. Also does a lot of damage if you are set up with Area 0 and a full bench, and your opponent has a full bench. Durant is kind of an interesting card. I didn't really have an answer to Charizard. I didn't really have an answer to Marnie's Grimmsnarl. Durant kind of fixes that. Does have a really cool ability. Does discard a card whenever you put it onto the bench. So you can actually end up, dumping this card if they knock out your Area 0, or you could just pull it back with Super Rod or Night Stretcher to discard multiple cards. Can end up discarding really strong, needed cards from your opponent's hand. Or it's like, say they play something such as a Cypher Maniac's Code Breaking, you could use the Sudden Shearing to discard that top card that they're counting on drawing into their next turn. The Vengeful Crush attack does 120 damage, plus 30 more for each prize card your opponent's taken. So once your opponent's taken 2 prize cards, Durant EX will take a 1-hit KO on Charizard, it will take a 1-hit KO on Marnie's Grimmsnarl, and that's all that we use Durant EX for, just those 2 matchups specifically. Other than that, it's either bench fodder for Clefairy, or you just use it to discard with Earthen Vessel and Ultra Ball. For research for Iono, you just need draw support in this deck, 2 boss's orders to get the preferred target. I would like to have a 3rd boss's order, or maybe even a Palpad in this deck. Palpad and Brave Charm are 2 considerations for sure. Brock Scouting, if you get item locked, Brock Scouting is just nice to have. Does also allow you to find 2 basic Pokemon, which could be your Fezandipiti and your Hearthflame Ogerpon, or it could be your Fezandipiti and your Latias, just to kind of combo your attacks. Kieran for a switching option, also for additional damage, does help against cards such as Gardevoir EX. Does that extra 30 damage, allowing your Hearthflame Ogerpon to hit 310 damage is very vital in some matchups. You could swap that out for a Black Belt, and the Black Belt would allow you to 1-hit KO Dragapults with the Hearthflame Ogerpon, but that's just it's just a matter of preference. If you're going to do the Black Belt, you might as well take out the Black Kyurem, but I enjoy having the Black Kyurem. I enjoy having the the breathing room to set up with Black Kyurem over playing the Black Belt. We don't have a way to search for the Black Belt, so it's a lot harder to do than just paralyzing with Black Kyurem. For Nest Ball, for Ultra Ball, you got to find all your basics, especially early game. You got to get your Charcadet down turn 1, no matter what. In most circumstances, you have to get that down. Otherwise, the deck just doesn't work. Wellspring Ogerpon, we've already talked about. For Earthen Vessel, you just have to find your fire energies to put in play with your Ethan's Ho-Oh. Some games you do end up attacking with your Ethan's Ho-Oh because you just don't have an attacker online. It does 160 damage and heals 50. Does help in matchups like Marnie's Grimmsnarl and also Dragapult, where they spread damage counters. Anything that plays Monkey Dory can really mess up their prize trade with you if you heal 50 damage off all your Pokemon. 2 Night Stretcher, just want to be able to pull back Fezandipiti when they knock it out. That's the biggest reason that's in there. Get your fire energies to use the Golden Flame ability. Same with Super Energy Retrieval. Sometimes you just want to grab back 4 energies and use double Golden Flame, get 4 energies back in play, and just take knockouts out of nowhere. Super Rod, put stuff back in your deck. Pretty self-explanatory. Sometimes you just need to recycle your resources, especially your Charcadet and Armarouge, to Area 0 to make a larger bench. Jamming Tower helps against Sparkling Crystal. That's really about it. Does help against Brave Charm in some situations as well. We play 7 basic fire energy. That was kind of the lowest amount that I felt comfortable playing. Otherwise, you just didn't have energy. You don't have energy if you don't play 7. The Luminous and the Legacy are kind of hard to find, but you do need them for your Iron Hands, you do need them for your Wellspring Ogerpon, and you do need them for your Clefairy. So you do have to make sure you're very careful with those. Most matchups, you'll be manually attaching one of those, and then you'll be doing your Ethan's ability for the basic fire energy, using Fire Off to push it up to your preferred attacker for the round. Overall, this was honestly the best way I could find to play Ethan's Ho-Oh EX. Go ahead and check out this matchup. Let me know what you guys think about this deck.